Hi, everybody, and welcome once again. Here we are on I guess what you call a Friday or Thursday night. That's what we are. And thank you so much for being along with us for this, what we call a Thursday. And the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And my name is Frank Allan. I am going to be with you, of course, for the next hour or so. And we're here every Thursday at this particular time. We're here every Thursday. And every Thursday, we come to you with great conversation and, all kinds of information. We want you to join in for us. So that says to me, I always say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you out there. So thank you so much for being along with us right here on Talk Back Live. Well, we got a good show for you. We are going to be with you. If you're just watching us, you're coming on with us. We're broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and of course, all of those other marvelous places that you know about. It's all right here. So we want you to stay with us and just make it your business to stay with us. All right, stay with us because that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we get you in on the conversation as we do. Now, those of you who want to chime in on the show, please feel free. All you have to do is just come on in. And if you have anything to say, we would be glad to talk to you. We will answer any of your questions that you may have or whatever. We'll answer all the questions. You may have questions that you want to relay to us. And of course, we will entertain all your questions, and we'll talk a lot. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us later on in the program. Of course, Brian Camp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And he'll come along with us and he'll bring us the latest developments in today's world of sports. So we're looking forward to that. I have also later on in the program, those classic movies that you love so much, all of those classic movies that come along, those classic movies from Turner Classic Movies, right? They're all coming along and we're going to give that to you. And we also have what's happening in this day in history too. So thank you so much for being along with us on this Thursday. Well, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the news and it's kind of mixed. It gets a little confusing sometimes because one tells us one and the other tells us another. I'm talking about the variant that we have going on. Now, here in New York today, as in some parts of the country too, they have lifted the mandate for mask. And so therefore, what they mean by that is if you go into a restaurant or a bar, here in New York State, now in New York City, I don't know if they did it all, some people are still practicing, but in New York State, they lifted the mandate for wearing a mask indoors and checking for vaccination because they feel like everything is coming to like a plateau in a certain situation where we may be able to go without them. Schools are still practicing. Wear your mask. They're still practicing. So here's what I say to you. If they have lifted mandates for wherever you are, if the government have done that, I think you should use your head on this one. Use your head on this one because it's very important. Don't take your mask off. Wear your mask. Continue to wear your mask. Don't take them off because it's always something that you want to get involved with. You want to make sure that you're safe. Everybody's safe on that level as far as masking goes. Everybody's safe on that level, right? So we want to make sure that everybody's safe. So continue to wear your mask, take your hand sanitizer, do all the things that you're supposed to be doing. Let's slowly but surely get into it. Okay, so the mandate, they squashed the mandate certain places they're still on. And maybe in your area, I don't know, depending on where you are. But if you're in an area where they said, okay, we're gonna squash the mandates, all right? So we're not gonna be talking to you about wearing a mask in a public place or checking whether or not you were vaccinated or not. But if I were you, I'd be the wiser and just practice it for a little bit more. Let's say for about a month, because now the weather is starting to get warmer in certain places. And even though the numbers of deaths and hospitalization and all kinds of cases has gone down in certain areas, you just want to make sure it doesn't hurt just to linger just a little while longer. Use your own judgment for that. That's more important. Anyway, if you are feeling sick by any means, you feel sick or anything like that, what we want you to do is to get tested. Get tested. There are plenty of places all around the country, all around the world where you can get tested. Places, that they have places like all kinds of outlets. And if you don't know where one is in your area, all you have to do is type it in. Just type it in, because you can find out exactly if you Google it, type it in to find out the nearest place near you, the center near you where you can get vaccinated. If you're going to get vaccinated, do you already know there's already 3 vaccinations on the market, right? Vaccines. There are 3 on the market, as you already know. There's the Moderna, there's the Pfizer, and there's the J&J. Of course, you have all of that. And so therefore, if you're going to take J&J or Moderna, for full vaccination, you have to take 2 shots for that, right? That's your full vaccination. Now, after you take your full vaccination, 6 months after, it will be your time to get boosted. And that's what we're looking forward. We're looking forward for boosters. If you haven't gotten boosted yet, and it's time for you to do so, please do so. We have the J&J, which is only requiring 1 shot. You take 1 shot, right? 2 months after that, you go get a booster. And that should cover things for a time. But in the meantime, we're watching this. We're making sure that everything is fine, even though that we know the numbers are going down, but still be on the safe side. Continue to wear your mask. And of course, if you're going to places like you're going to use mass transit for any reason, of course, you're going to have to use that. They're going to demand that you use your mask for that. Mask up. Just be safe. Just be safe. Okay, so I have a number, of course, as you already know. I give to you each week. And I give it to you through the courtesy of COVID-19 test. And the number is 718-638-7682. That's 718-638-7682. Now, that's a local number here in New York, for those of you who live in New York, all right? For the rest of you who someplace on the other side of the world, someplace, you have local numbers that you can actually get. But that number, even if you call that number, it can lead you to a roadmap. It gives you a roadmap to where to go. You'll talk to someone live and they can recommend, or maybe they have the information on hand as they speak to you. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? But for the most part, in your local area, all is a matter of Googling just to find out where to get tested or where to get vaccinated. Now, your doctor, your primary doctor may have a supply of vaccines, and you can get that through him. You can go to your favorite pharmacist. There are a lot of centers all across the country. If you're getting tested, I know here in New York, we have tents that are set up on the sidewalk where you can go and get tested. If you're feeling sick, get tested, all right? If you feel that you have the symptoms, get tested. After getting tested, quarantine for about 10 days or so, and then get retested just to make sure that you're okay, just to make sure that everything would be negative at that point, and then you can go back to whatever, But we want to just flatten this. We don't want to spread any viruses amongst anyone. So anyway, do that, and that would be great. I want to say hello to all my friends out there watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you guys for popping in. We love you for being here. I have information for you people, New Yorkers, who take the vaccine called Moderna, all right? If you live in New York City, this is only for New Yorkers only, because this is the kind of information I have. New Yorkers only. Now, Moderna boosters and COVID-19 PCR testing is available now at the following stations. That's Times Square, 42nd Street, the passageway between the Lexington Avenue line and the Lexington and Grand Central shuttle. And you can do that Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the Grand Central Terminal street level, 89 East 42nd Street, Monday through Sunday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And there are no appointments necessary, Isn't that nice? So if you're just walking by there, you'll see it, no appointment necessary. And just to be on the safe side, if you can check out for schedule updates, sometimes they may have those, go to their website. This website is called new.mta info/vax. That's new.mta.info/vax. And that will be all that has to be done. So there you go. And that's what it is. So please do that. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us and thank you for chiming in. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan. And of course, as I said, I will be with you for the balance of this hour. We're going to be here up till the top of the hour. We're here every Thursday, as I said, between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. And those of you around the world at different places, different time zone, check your time zone and make sure you match with us. We may be in a different place. For instance, if you're on the East Coast somewhere, on the West Coast, I'm sorry, if you're on the West Coast somewhere, of course, we're 3 hours ahead of you. So that would make it like after 5 o'clock in the afternoon where you are. Okay, so please be there. I forgot to tell you that we're 8 p.m. here on the East Coast right now. We're 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in Tokyo, Japan at 1 a.m. And of course, I'm sorry, that's in London, but in Tokyo, Japan, it's 10 a.m. So they're having breakfast over there. It's 12 minutes past the hour right now. And we're broadcasting, of course, through, as you can see, Zoom now. And and the reason why we're doing that is because now when Brian comes in, we're going to actually have him on the air with us. He's going to actually be on the air with us. So we want to make sure that's happening. And I can see that we are, for a change. It's working out. It's gotten better. And I want to apologize for those of you who were looking out for us last week. We had a technical problem that led us to believe that we were actually on the air. We were actually recording. Later on, that the only thing that we were able to do was to tape the show and post it. So if you missed us live, we apologize for that. That was our fault. And we, making this transition, broadcasting through Zoom now, through Facebook, through Instagram. Well, Instagram, of course, it doesn't provide that service, but YouTube, all right? And now that we're doing it through Zoom, and it's a whole different ballgame now. So we got everything straightened out. And those of you who are watching us right now, give me a little hi. I would love to hear from you. I'll be watching you on the screen, looking out for you as you come in. And we just want to say to all of you guys that it's always been a pleasure each week to come here and to have a good time together. Just, have some fun. Just do our thing here. So thank you guys for being along with us. I'm happy to say no one, as far as I know, we've got the Super Bowl coming in. You know that, right? Coming up this Sunday. All right, now, those of you who are watching and you're a sports person, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year? All right. Now, I'm going to tell you up front. In advance. I'll tell you right up front, in advance. I think, all right, and this is only my pick. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to do it because the Cincinnati Bengals are playing the Los Angeles Rams, right? I was up in the air about it in the beginning, but I said, something, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go for Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl this year. Now, neither one of those teams are my teams. But since the Super Bowl is coming on and it's a big thing, when Super Bowl time comes along, it's a big thing. Everybody comes along with it. And everybody just, they buy their snacks and everything, and they want to focus in on the Super Bowl, whether or not their team are playing or not, whether or not their team are playing. My team is not playing, but I'm going to watch it anyway. So I am going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals to win the Super Bowl. When Brian Camp comes in, I'm going to find out what his pick is, if he cares at all. I'm going to find out what his pick is. If you're out there watching right now, let me know what your pick is. Tell me what your pick is. I say Cincinnati Bengals. And so we'll see what your pick is. Let's see what happens with that. And so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. So that's happening this Sunday. And you don't hear too many people talking about it too much, but maybe because a lot of people, are upset because their team didn't make it in, like the Bills didn't make it in, the Vikings didn't make it in, none of us made it in, so we're going to have to settle for what we have. Also, the Olympics are on, and I'm pretty sure Brian's going to be talking about that too. The Olympic, it's on, and we have news about the Olympics. Brian is going to tell us, I'm pretty sure you heard about one of the younger people that played the Olympics, failed a drug test. Brian's going to give us that. I'm pretty sure Brian will come up with that information in a few minutes when he comes in. But there's a lot of things going on in sports. A lot of things going on in sports, and of course, so we want to remind everybody, it's just sports. So I see more people are coming in, so I just want to wave to you guys, say hi, Facebook, hi YouTube, hi you guys out there and watching us on Instagram. Yeah, they're right there in full force. So thank you so much for being with us. I didn't know how we were going to do this. I got to explain something to you guys on Instagram. I'm going to explain something to you guys on Instagram. On YouTube and Facebook, when Brian comes in, they'll be able to see him. Unfortunately, we can't provide that service for the people who are watching us on Instagram. So if you want to watch us on Instagram or YouTube to see Brian as he come in when he does the sports, we'll be more than happy to have you come in. That would be great. So I just wanted to say that to you. So when Brian comes on, you don't see him. That's because they don't provide the service for that. Anyway, but I see you guys are coming in anyway. You guys are still there. You guys love Instagram. You want to stay there? Okay, fine. And those of you who are, you don't want to say anything, that's okay. You don't want to say anything, that's okay. You might want to just stay idle. You want to stay idle? Is that what it is? You want to stay idle, right? Okay. As long as you're there, whatever time you could spare with us, that's okay. You want to stay idle and just watch the show without saying anything, that's okay. But, know this, that I always love to hear from you. I love to talk to you. Okay, Brian Camp should be here. He's a little late coming in because wherever he was en route. So we're going to give him a little more time before he checks in, and then he'll give us the sports update, and then we'll see what's happening with that. Nevertheless, if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, it's 19 minutes past the hour right now. And of course, just in case a lot of you are just joining us, and if you're joining us for the first time, don't make it your last time. As a matter of fact, those of you who are watching us on Facebook, tag your friends, let them know that we're out here so they can have the opportunity to, get out there and be part of this too, because when you tag them, you do that. Now, those of you who are watching us on YouTube, of course, all you have to do is just remember to, once you go on YouTube, check out my YouTube channel. And once you go on the YouTube channel, subscribe to it. This way you'll never miss a show. Because every time we go on the air live, or if we so much as post a live video or something like that, you'll be notified. Isn't that good to know that you'll be notified? So anyway, get your friends in online, you guys on YouTube and you guys on Facebook, especially Facebook. Tag your friends, bring them in right now and let them be part of the action. And hopefully that they'll be part of us each week. And we're going to move right along. And as I said earlier in the program, we're going to have that information for you for those classic movies that we talk about so much. Those Turner classic movies. And I have a few for you that I'm going to talk about. And we're going to give you that information. That's all coming up, Turner classic movies. And also this day in history, all of that is coming up, you, me, all of us in conversation. And I just want to say hi to you guys. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. So thank you so much for being along with us. Okay, we've got, I guess Brian is still a little late coming in. He's normally here like 13 minutes, 15 minutes past the hour. That's usually coming in. It's now 20 past the hour. So we're going to keep just chiming in and hopefully he'll come in. Okay, in the meantime, while he's doing that, I already told you about, the places you can go to get vaccinated, right? Please, please, please do that. It's very important that you get vaccinated, and tell your friends, try to get your friends to go on to get vaccinated as well. Okay. All right. I don't know. Brian is not here. I don't know where he is at this particular point. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on to a couple more things. Let's see. Maybe we could talk about this day in history until he comes on. You think? Maybe we can go into this day in history? I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'll give him another minute or so. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And I see more people starting to come in on Facebook, and more people on Instagram. They're out there. So thank you guys for your patronage, as they like to say. Okay. All right. Okay. Brian is late for whatever reason. So I'm going to move the show on, and let's get started with this day in history. Okay. How about we do that? Let's get started for this day in history. Okay. On this day in history in 1915, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson warns Germany that U.S. will hold it to strict accountability for property and that lives of lost and endangerment. Okay, on this day in history in 1927, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge asked for second disarmament for compensation. Well, that's all there in history. What else we have on this day in history? Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart. That's the musical America's Sweetheart that premiered on Broadway at the Broadhurst Theater in New York City. On this day in history in 1934, the first Jewish immigrant ship broke, and they break the English blockade in Palestine. On this day in history, 1939, Stagecoach. That's a Western film that was directed by John Ford and starring Claire Trevor and John Wayne. That premiered in Miami. On this day in history in 1940, The Mood with Glenn Miller. That hit #1. On this day in history in 1940, Tom and Jerry cartoon created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbara. That debuted by MGM. On this day in history, 1945, Rum and Coke by the Andrews Sisters hit #1. On this day in history in 1949, Arthur Miller's play Death of a Salesman opens at the Roscoe Theater in New York City. On this day in history in 1954, President Eisenhower warns against U.S. intervention in Vietnam. Okay, and this day in history in 1956, My Friend Flicker, that premiered on CBS, then later on went to NBC TV. On this day in history in 1964, WBGU TV, Channel 27 in Bowling Green, Ohio. And that's a PBS station that began broadcasting for the first time. On this day in history in 1971, Royal Albert Hall band's scheduled concert featuring Frank Zappa. On this day in history in 1971, Tapestry, the second studio album by Carole King, is released, and it won the Grammy Award Album of the Year in 1972. Also in 1972, BBC bands Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Wings. On this day in history, 1979, Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart, and that peaked #1. Back in 1981, 8 killed and 198 injuries by a fire at the Los Angeles Hilton. That's the Las Vegas Hilton, I should say. On this day in history, in 1989, Ron Brown was chosen the first African-American chairman of the Democratic Party. In 1997, the 13th Soap Opera Digest, okay, that goes on to a General Hospital, as you already know. Okay, in 2005, Prince Charles of Wales announces his engagement to Camille Parker Bowles. In 2008, the 50th Grammy Awards. Okay, that came along with Amy Winehouse. She wins 5 awards, including the song Rehab, and Herbie Hancock wins Album of the Year. Jimmy Durante was born on this day, February 10th, 1893 in New York City, and he passed away January 29th, 1980 at the age of 86 from pneumonia. In 1905, William Chick Webb, American jazz drummer and big band leader. He played and introduced Ella Fitzgerald, and he was born on this day in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland in 1939. Opera singer, Leontine Price, she's a soprano. She was born on this day in 1927 in Laurel, Mississippi at the age of 95. That's what she is today, 95, so happy birthday. And 1939, Roberta Flack celebrates a birthday on this day in 1939. Happy birthday, Roberta Flack. And she was born in Mountain, North Carolina. 1940, Jimmy Merchant of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, one of the original members of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. He's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Haven't heard from him in a long time. In 1944, pop singer, songwriter, pianist, and performer Peter Allan was born on this day in Tenterfield, North-South Wales. He passed away in 1992. In 1966, a reggae artist, reggae musician Bob Marley marries fellow musician Rita Anderson, who later became, of course, obviously Rita Marley. 2001, singer-comedian Weird Al Yankovic. He marries Suzanne Krajewski. Krajewski is the name. And that's this day in history. And if you know of anyone in this day in history who want to get involved, and contact me. And if I didn't know anything about it, please let me know, and I will be glad to have you along. He's finally here, but by telephone. Brian Camp, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Good evening. Sorry for the delay.
What's happening?
I was having some problems, but how you doing?
You're not on the. We were going to put you on televised live. Where are you?
Oh, I didn't know what you wanted me to. You want me to do that?
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, look, since you're here, you might as well just.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know. I thought you was trying to still work out some of these kinks and everything.
I tell you what, why don't you just do it? Go on. Come on live. All right,
okay,
come on. Come on.
Well, do I have a Zoom? Well, I have to come on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have the Zoom?
Did I give you? I gave you the information before, didn't I?
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, just give me a couple minutes and I'll come on Zoom. Man.
Okay. we had crosses mixed up. He was supposed to be originally on Zoom, and he didn't know that he was going to be on Zoom. All right, so we didn't have a great communications there. But we'll see what happens. He comes on. He's coming on. Hey, listen, it's 29 minutes past the hour. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and I'm here with you. And we're going to be here up until, well, I guess up until what? The next half hour or so? Yeah, we're going to be here for the next half hour. And you're just joining us? Come on in. If you're just joining us for the first time, we thank you so much for being along. And those of you who would like to join us every week, please know that we're here every Thursday at this time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Remember, it's Eastern, so set your clocks accordingly. 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram too. All my friends out there watching us on Instagram, YouTube, thank you guys for being along with us. It's always a pleasure to have you aboard with us. And I guess Brian was detained, but he came in by telephone this week. I don't know why. I already told him. I guess communications got mixed up. I guess it got mixed up. But here we are. Actually, I should have kept him on the phone and we do the Zoom thing tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. See if he comes in. I guess he's not coming in. Okay. I should have kept him on the phone. I should have kept him. Anyway, we are going to let's see, move on down the line because we have later on in the program. We're going to give you all of that information, all of the great movies that you love so much, movies coming on, all of the great movies that come on, you know that, from Turner Classic Movies. Well, we're going to have that for you. That's coming up. That's coming up as soon as Brian finished the World of Sports coming in. And we're going to have him come along and give you that information. There's a lot to talk about. So if you have that Super Bowl thing coming on, right? Super Bowl, that's all coming in. Okay, that Super Bowl, that's coming in on this Sunday. But Brian is here and he's going to tell you more about.
How you doing?
Okay.
Good. Better?
I thought you knew all about this.
Oh, I did, but we was having some technical difficulties last week, so that's why I didn't know that you had fixed out the kink.
Well, you must have forgotten because I told you early in the week we're going to go on. We fixed the problem. But
Okay.
anyway, look, you're here.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to see you. It's 52 degrees. I was in a bunch of in and out of busy meetings today, and so I said, well, I'm not going to miss the show. I got to be here. I got to be here. So that's why I'm here. And hello to everybody out there in Zoom and Facebook, Instagram and YouTube and wherever else you may be tuning in. I greet you all a good evening. Like I said, in the Queen City, it is 52 degrees out here and it's beautiful. We had beautiful weather. It was in the 60s today and it's supposed to be a high 60s tomorrow. And this is Super Bowl weekend coming up. Super Bowl weekend. So we're going to get right to it. Speaking of the Super Bowl, there we go. Super Bowl 56 starts this Sunday, February 13th in Los Angeles, where the Los Angeles Rams play their home games. Is going to be hosting on their home field against the Cincinnati Bengals. That starts at 6:30 on NBC. So let me tell you very quickly what I'm having. That I'm preparing, having a slab of ribs, and have some nice hot wings, chicken wings in the air fryer, or I have some nachos. We're gonna do it all. So we're gonna make my home dip, my homemade dip.
Is this supposed to be a tease or something? Are you trying to get me angry?
Not a tease. It's just something that this is what I do. I do not go to a sports bar. I don't go to anywhere else. I stay home and watch the Super Bowl because I want to watch and listen to the broadcast. So,
okay,
yeah.
Who's your pick this year?
My pick is going to be the LA Rams.
Okay, I'm opposite of you, but that's another show.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. But we both agree that we want a good game, though, right? I mean, that's important.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's very, very important.
And we get to see new commercials coming in.
See the new commercials, and we hope that everybody will tune in to see the halftime show, which is always spectacular for more or less, and let's have fun. So that's what we're having for Super Sunday, as we call it in the sports world. Super Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, and let's kick off is at 6:30. Major League Baseball has stopped testing players for steroids for the first time in 20 years. You believe that? They are stopping testing for steroids due to the expiration of the sports drug agreement. The halt is a testing casualty of baseball, a sports lockout that started December 2nd, and a provision in a joint drug agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Association that states the termination date and time of the program shall be 11:59 on December 1st, 2021. That was last month. So there's no more testing for steroids. Why are they doing this? I guess, they figured that they got all the steroid players out. So now everybody is going back. My opinion, everybody's going to be still using something just to get an edge. Speaking about Major League Baseball continues and insists that the federal mediation of the best route to break the deadlock between the Major League Baseball Players Association and Major League Baseball on last Friday was rejected. Request for a mediator. They rejected a mediator. Mediator is the one that's going to be a neutral side who will determine whether or not who's right, who's wrong. But anyway, it was rejected between the parties of a new collective bargain agreement. And right now, the move pretty much eliminates any chance for an on-time start to spring training, which starts March 31st, unless the owners, I beg your pardon, they start in February. Later on this month, in a couple of weeks, catchers and pitchers are going to report. Now, unless the owners lift a lockout and the sides continue to negotiate for a new agreement, some in the industry on both sides fear that March 31st date, that's opening day, March 31st, opening day could also be the risk of no resolution to reach by the end of February. So there you have it. So, we're in a situation where we might not have any baseball coming up, at least for the start of it. But we've been here before, so we've seen this. So we'll see what happens. Sad news again, another radio personality got canned again. Why can't these radio personalities stop doing this here? Sirius XM has fired former PGA Tour pro golfer Mark Lyle, who made a controversial comments about women's basketball during a show last Saturday. His quotes were, these are his quotes, I'm just quoting his quotes. The LPGA, which is the golf, which is the ladies golf tour, to me is a completely different tour than it was 10 years ago. Lyle said on Sirius XM PGA Tour radio, you couldn't pay me to watch. You really couldn't, because I couldn't relate at all. It's kind of like if you were a basketball player, and I'm not trashing anybody, please don't take it the wrong way. I saw some highlights of ladies basketball. Man, is there a gun in the house? I'll shoot myself before I watch that. Well, you make a statement like that and you get fired. So he's been out. He did later apologize. Of course, they always apologize. Apologize would be too late. And that's what happened. It's too late. He apologized. So he will probably continue on doing probably a podcast, because that's what a lot of these here athletes and radio personalities are doing nowadays. They have these podcasts now where they could do their own shows. So that's where we stand. Today was the deadline for the NBA trading deadline. There was some big trades on basketball. NBA James Harden was traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Philadelphia 76ers. So he's been disgruntled, not happy about what's going on. A lot has to do with the Brooklyn Nets. One of their star players, Kyrie Irving, who refused to take the vaccination. He's only allowed to play road games instead of home games, because New York has this mandate rules about if you're not vaccinated, you can't play. You can't be in attendance for these games. So that's where we stand. This day, February 10th, 1920, baseball outlaws all pitches involving tampering with the ball. Yes. It's always been doctoring the ball with the scuffed up spit ball or whatever. 1927, Bucky Harris, at 27 years old, becomes the youngest baseball manager with the Washington Senators. 1961, AFLs, American Football League, back then in 1961, the LA Chargers moved to San Diego. Yes, they did move to San Diego, and guess where they're at now? They're back in LA, and they'll be hosting the Super Bowl. 1969, LSU, Pistol Pete Maverick scores 66 points despite losing to Tulane 101-94. 1971, Bill White, remember Bill White, becomes the first African-American baseball announcer to be employed by the New York Yankees. Bill White, as you know, now some of you New Yorkers that live in New York They used to have their games on WPIX on Channel 11 in New York, along with Phil Rizzuto and Bill, I think the name was Bill Messer or Bob Messer.
Frank Mesa.
Yes. And he was the announcer. They had a three-man team, and he was the first African-American baseball announcer and for the Yankees. 1989, Boston Celtic Casey Jones and Cleveland Cavalier Lenny Wilkins is elected to NBA Hall of Fame. 1991, the 41st NBA All-Star Game, Charlotte Coliseum, Charlotte, North Carolina. East beat West, 116-114. Charles Barkley, MVP. And finally, in 1992, Mike Tyson, convicted of rape in Desiree, Washington, in Indiana. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
Okay. Listen, I don't know if I was hoping that you were going to elaborate on, you remember the Olympics are on now. And of course you heard the big news that one of the for lack of a better term, the Olympians. Yeah, okay. One of them, a child, 15 years old, didn't pass the drug test. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that, but that's common. Every Olympics, there's always somebody that's disqualified, didn't pass the drug test. Everybody's shooting up. So that's not news. I mean,
Yeah, but 15 years old, that's the first for me.
Well, it is the first, yeah. But this what goes on not only in this country but worldwide. Everybody's taking something to enhance their ability to win.
Where did that music come from?
I have no idea. I don't play.
Sounds nice. What is that?
I don't know. There's no music over here.
Okay, keep talking. Anyway, you were saying, I'll find out.
Yeah, so basically is that, have these druggies that come out, they take these performance enhancing drugs, and they try to, to get an edge. They just try their best to get an edge, and it really doesn't help. It doesn't help the Olympics. It doesn't help the country. It doesn't help the athletes. But this is something new. I'm not surprised. To be honest with you, I haven't been paying attention of the Olympics because there's so much going on. Yeah. They have dropped the attendance of people attending the Olympics because of COVID-19. So, as for the drugs, being caught with drugs, this is nothing new. This happens every time, whether it's the Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics, and it's just sad.
I just get so tired of hearing about it now because I would just like to hear, and more tired because I think it's unfair to the people for sports figures who are playing the game of sports of their choice. They're playing it on the up and up, doing it on their own merits, and we talked about this before relating to baseball. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And it's just not fair. And
well, I do feel sorry for the athletes who trained for 4 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
To reach the highest pinnacle of their careers, to win a gold medal, but then get slighted because their opponents or their teammates or else countrymen, no matter what country that you're from, is using performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah,
just to get an edge, and it's not right. You can't even place a bet on horse racing because even the horses are drugged up. It's true, and and this has been going on. It's illegal, but they still do it. They try to catch you, and they catch you to a certain point, but it doesn't matter. They just sweep it under the rug.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
film at 11, as they say in, sports TV.
Yeah.
Okay, do we get the pleasure of seeing you tomorrow?
No, I had mailed it in. I mailed my stuff in to you. You will catch on the email. Won't be able to come in, but maybe I'll be able to tune in, but I won't be able to do the sports and everything. But I'm with you in spirit, and I'll sneak a peek, if I can, just to see you and everything.
Other than that, we'll be back here tomorrow. I mean, we'll probably catch you back here next week then.
I'll see you next Thursday, yes. And I'll see you next Friday too, according to what my schedule looks like. It looks like I'll be able to see you next Friday as well too.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. We'll catch you then. Take care of yourself.
Take care, everybody.
All right. That's Brian Kemp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And wow, it's great to have him aboard with us as usual, bringing us the latest. He was a little late today. Then we had, miscommunications about whether or not he's going to be on the air, televised, or well, he was on the phone first. We had him on the phone first, but that was it. That was it. So that's about it. That's about it. And everything is good. And if you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and we're here with you as we are every week. We're here every week at this time from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. And those of you who are joining us for the first time, we thank you so much for being here. And we hope that you come back again and again as we bring you all of that. Now, we already talked about, already gave you information. We already talked about this day in history. And we used that was a cover that we used, This Day in History, because Brian came in late. We had to have something to do. We have to have something to do. But Brian came in late, but nevertheless, he came in, but we already did This Day in History just in case you are late. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time right now. It is time. It's coming up to 12 minutes to the hour, and we're going to tell you about those great movies that you love so much. You guys love those classic movies? I know I love those classic movies. Classic movies all around. Yeah, classic movies. And they all come from Turner Classic Movies. And I have my picks of the week for this week. They may be more, but we'll tell you more about that later. But this week, I have my picks of the week. And let's start off going back to 1944 to Have and Have Not with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. And that comes on this Sunday at 1:15 p.m. Eastern, right there on Turner Classic Movies. It's a great movie, a great classic movie. A husband and wife teamed together playing in that role. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, even Walter Brenton was in there. He played the little drunk guy, but you have to watch that for yourself. The Music Man, back to 1962, starring Shirley Jones and Robert Preston. That comes on Turner Classic Movies as well, this Sunday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. That's a musical, those of you who like musical. I was introduced to Music Man when I was in high school. Even before I saw the movie, I got to hear the soundtrack because my music teacher was playing it for us in school, music teacher. Okay, and finally, you have Stormy Weather from 1943, starring Bill Robinson, Mr. Bojangles, Bill Robinson, and Lena Horne. They're together in this movie on Turner Classic Movies. That comes on again Sunday. Everything is Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And again, that's on Turner Classic Movies. So we invite you to check those movies out. Now, if those movies don't appeal to you, and they should. And by the way, you can always watch those movies without any interruptions, no commercials or anything. And the good thing about it is that none of these movies are overlapping each other. So you can watch them all one after the other. I don't program in a way where movies overlap. If I'm going to give you movies to watch, I don't want them to overlap with another movie. So these movies are not going to overlap. You can watch all of them. But if you may find more Turner Classic movies, those are just three of my picks. There could be more that you like. So all you have to do is go to Turner Classic and scroll down the program guide, and you'll see all of the Turner Classics of the week. And you say, oh, he didn't mention that one, but I like that one. I'll check that one out. It's all good. And it's all happening this weekend, And those of you who want to go on demand, if you have cable, you want to go on movie on demand, they have a lot of great movies. And they come from all of the eras, from the 30s to the 90s and early for this millennium, the 20s. We have all of those movies, and you might like them. They may, some of those movies, you look back and you go through the program guide of the movie of demand, and you'll find something probably that you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe you've seen something that you've seen like 1,000 times and never get tired of it. And they're all, you just go right through it. And if you're a sports person like I am, like Brian is, if there's an event on one of the networks, because all of the networks are there, if there was an event on one of the networks and you didn't get a chance to see it, well, depending on what the network is or what network it was on, go the following day if you didn't watch it live in real time. You can always check it out on demand the following day. That's how it usually is. Same thing with movies. And you go there and you can check it out. I like wrestling, so if I ever miss a wrestling match, which is very rare, I know I could always go back to the network that it was on and then watch it again the following day because it's all on demand. You'll find so many other things. If you like those Lifetime movies, there are plenty of those. You could watch those. A lot of documentaries. Lately, I've been keeping up with a lot of the documentaries that came on. Some that comes on TNT, for instance. They have one on TNT, which I'm keeping up with. It was called Secrets of the Playboy Mansion. They have, it's interesting series. And, if you didn't see any of it, go to TNT. Go to TNT and you can watch them all. They're all there. And I managed to do the 4th episode. The 5th episode comes on Monday. But again, if you don't get a chance to see them in real time, you can always go back. And then I was watching a lot of the Marilyn Monroe documentaries that came in every once in a while. CNN comes up with great documentaries, like they have the LBJ coming up, Lyndon Johnson, president. All of that's coming up, And boy, all you have to do is go on demand, and you can check out the networks. You can check out there are a lot of paid movies you can pay for, right? Free movies, paid movies, and classic movies. And if you don't want to go to the movies, which a lot of people are not going to the movies these days because of the pandemic, well, what they're doing, they're going to on demand and check them out. But look at this. Look at it this way. What does it cost to go to a movie theater these days? I remember when I was a kid, it was 50 cents. Today, it's got to be like, the last time I went to a movie, I think it was like $16. And that was about 3 years ago. I don't know if you're a moviegoer. Anybody a moviegoer can tell me. I'm just going to take a guess that maybe it's like $20 now for a movie, And if you're going to take a date, that's an easy $40 in the bucket, not counting the popcorn and the sodas and all of that stuff. All right, which, by the way, they charge an arm and a leg for that. So think about that. And if you don't get a chance to see it in the movies, maybe it's on. You can buy it or order it on TV. And what does that cost? It must cost about $4, $5. I don't know, something like that, right? That's a big difference. That's a big difference. And if you're counting on a date, have the date come to your house, or you go to her house and watch. Pop some popcorn, throw some in the microwave. All of that together should be about nothing, right? Or if you're buying popcorn, popcorn is cheap. What about a buck or so? I don't know, whatever. But you come out cheaper that way. But for the whole thing is that a lot of people are not going to the movies because of the fact that it's the pandemic that's holding people back, and a lot of people are going to different places. And as Brian already said about sports, we may and may not have baseball. I don't know. We'll see about that. but they always say that it's flattening a little bit. We'll see what happens. Anyway, before I talk more about that, let's talk about those movies again. I want to repeat those movies for the week. It's 5 minutes to the hour. It's To Have and Have Not with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. That's Sunday at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. The Music Man with Shirley Jones and Robert Preston. That's Sunday at 5:15 p.m. And Stormy Weather. That's a big classic, 1943 with Bill Robertson and Lena Horne. And that's Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a great day to be home, Sunday. Sunday is a great day because you know you're going to have to work the following day, right? So Sunday, spend at home and watch these movies or other movies that you may have. There's so many things to do to entertain yourself. It's just not funny. So those are the movies of the week. Those are the picks of the week. And we thank you for being along with us. Okay, so now getting back, as I told you, the pandemic, we talked about that already. That's one of the things it's people are looking out for. Now, as I said at the top of the show, that it's in a situation now where they're, depending on where you are, I know here in New York, they shut down the mandate for wearing masks inside public restaurants and bars and things like that. But they're optional. Still wearing a mask is optional. I would take the option and continue to wear the mask just for a little while longer, Now, some of the places, like not all of the bars and restaurants are going to go in with this thing, even though they know they can, but they're still checking for your information, whether or not you were vaccinated. They still require that you wear a mask. I know on public transportation, you have to wear a mask. If you're flying, you have to wear a mask, So if some places, New York City, we're kind of careful out here in New York City. We're kind of careful. We're not that easily swayed to say, hey, you know something? They said we don't have to wear a mask, but I think I'm going to wear my mask a little bit. I'm not going to take the chance. That's how we are in New York, So even though they say, okay, we're now going to squash the mandate. Okay, you don't have to wear your mask inside a public place. They're not going to check for your ID. They're not going to check for your passport to find out whether you are vaccinated or not. But the thing, they may not do that, but on the other side of the coin, please, use your head. Use your head, even though you may follow that option. It's okay. They say it's okay. But me personally, I'm not comfortable with it just yet. And I just want to just hang around with it just a little while longer to see how it goes. So that's how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, if you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, information I gave you about where to go to get vaccinated. I have that local number. I'll just repeat it to you one more time. That's the COVID-19 test. And that number is 718-638-7682. Again, that's 718-638-7682. Please, ladies and gentlemen, go there and check it out. And if you have any questions, information, you want to talk to someone live, they may be able to help you. That's a local number, so no matter where you are, you can probably get some kind of information. But for the most part, wherever you are, you have local numbers and websites where you are. Just Google them, find out where they are, and you'll come up with something. But the whole thing, the main thing is, I always say, get vaccinated. It's very, very important. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I had a good time. I hope you did too. It's time for me to go. But listen, we're going to be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with the coffee hour. Brian Camp won't be here for his part of the 2020 feature, but I'll take care of that for him. And that's 20 past the hour with the latest developments in today's world of sports. DJ Pete will be here with his version of his 2020 feature, 20 to the hour, with the latest developments, of course, music of entertainment. Other than that, I'll be back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. And we'll do it all over again for more of having good times and having good conversation right here on Talkback Live. Until then, have a great day, good morning, good afternoon, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.